Ted Jones messed with the wrong melon farmers.
Ted Jones, I also call him the eighth wonder of the real estate world.
Ted Jones, who knows, it could be.
Ted Jones?
The Ted Jones World Podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 59 of the Ted Jones World Podcast. Pat putting away his keys, ready to settle in. Pat came to the studio today, and I just made him hop right on the couch.
I literally just got off the FDR.
And now he is ready to go.
On the couch.
Pat, you were also just telling me that you're a little bit shaky. You had a big cold brew.
I had a grande cold brew.
What's the story with that, bro? Oh my God. I had 2 Trentas the other day. I ordered 2 Trentas on Uber Eats, and I felt like I wanted to jump out of the office building.
Is that bigger than the...
Dude, yes, it's bigger than the Venti. It's 30 ounces.
That's insane. That's way too much caffeine.
Yeah. So I had the full Trenta, and then had a sip of the second one, and I literally felt like I wanted to jump off the building, man. I was so shaky. It was like liquid cocaine. Not that I would know what that is like.
It's not good. It's not good. Especially when I was an empty stomach, and I don't drink coffee that much. I drink it. I'll enjoy like a coffee maybe once a week on like a weekend or something, but
But what do you mean you'll enjoy one? Like you don't need one to wake up at all?
No.
Like,
well,
you just like
it
the taste?
does. It helps, but I don't want to be reliant on coffee to make me wake up, so I try not to drink it often.
I feel like I'm a little bit reliant on coffee. Coffee, weed, and water.
Yeah.
But, the
essentials.
3 natural things.
Most doctors recommend
Exactly. So, hello and welcome to episode 59. Yes, producer Pat is with us, Ted Jones Worlders, on the couch. We have producer Katie over here, and we really gotta get down to it. What's going on with Pat? What's going on with Kourtney Kardashian hanging out with a 20-year-old? What's good with Donnie T moonwalking at his Florida shenanigans fair? But Pat, you and I, we're back in the stew. And I'm pumped about it, man. Are you pumped about it?
I'm pumped in more ways than one.
I mentioned TikTok just really quickly. This girl, I know you're a fan of TikTok. This girl, Addison Rae, she's a big TikTok star. I'm not sure how familiar you people are with TikTok. She's 20 years old, and she's hanging out in New York, like holding hands with Kourtney Kardashian. Have you seen this?
I saw the paparazzi photos of them hanging out. I didn't see that they were holding hands. But.
So how old is Kourtney Kardashian? Do you have that over there, Katie?
40, right? Yeah,
she's 41. I don't think it's chill for a 41-year-old to be hanging out with a 20-year-old, like in any way.
I don't think the age difference doesn't really bother me. Just
is it because they're both celebs though?
What Addison Rae is she really? I guess she's technically a celebrity.
She's definitely
now.
she has a ton of little followers on TikTok, right?
TikTok, yeah. I don't know where that relationship sprouted.
It's definitely a weird little relationship. And then Kourtney Kardashian was also dating some like 25-year-old man before that. She just likes the younger people.
Why not? So does her other guy.
The younger peeps.
Who's the other guy? Wasn't he dating a 19-year-old?
He was too. They both were. I feel like celebs celebs also when they date, like it doesn't really matter like the age difference, they don't care. I mean, for the most part, just like if you're a celeb, you're 50, and you're a celeb and you're 20, I guess
celebs get a pass in that regard.
Why is that?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Some people will like stick up their nose at it, but also at the same time they get a pass for it.
What?
It's just normal. I don't know why, really. I don't know.
It doesn't really make any sense. Like I was talking about last episode when Giulio Gallerati was here. I was talking about how my ex-girlfriend, when I was 17 years old, started going on a few dates with Adrienne Grenier, who was 33 years old at the time.
Yeah.
And like it seemed super super fine. Like nobody was really bugging out about that.
That's definitely
people thought it was cool.
It's definitely a coastal thing. Like in major cities, it is. I feel it's a lot more normal for an older person to be dating a younger person on like coastal cities.
Right. It doesn't like happen in a Kansas situation unless they're like brother and sister.
Or maybe it does. I don't know. I'm not from Kansas, so I don't know. But
right. So let us know if you are from Kansas, in the middle of the coastal cities. Let us know if it's chill to be dating someone 30 years.
How old would you go?
Senior. How old would I go personally?
Yeah. Do you put a cap on it? Like
I don't know, but you remember when I was texting that older woman, that older housewife from the New York the Real Housewives of New York. I was texting one of those ladies for a little bit. That was just like a short little blip, though, man. Like I couldn't realistically see going out with somebody who's as old as my mom.
I think if you're in your early to mid 20s, you could date whoever you want. I don't think it's maybe not. What's the word I'm looking for?
Kosher.
No, I think it is. In society standards, but it's not as common. But I don't think it's that I really don't think it's that weird for like a 25-year-old to be dating a 50-year-old.
Well,
If,
you yourself had been seeing some
if the
not
25-year-old
super
is
younger girls,
mature.
but younger girls-ish.
Yeah.
I'd say
well,
like
that's like a four-year difference.
right. So I mean, for the most part, I'd say date who you want to date, but I'd say maybe not make it as obvious as gold digging. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
then it's weird.
Some 23, 24-year-olds are a lot more mature than other 23, 24-year-olds.
That is true, and especially 23-year-old girls are probably like as mature as a 33-year-old man.
And a 50-year-old could be really immature. So who knows?
That's true. You mean a 50-year-old man or a 50-year-old woman?
Either way. I think
Right.
a 50-year-old man is probably more likely to be immature than a 50-year-old woman. But who knows? I don't know.
That was funny. I just dropped that weird fact on you guys that I was talking. How did it even start, dude? I DM'd this Real Housewife of New York.
But you
I was
had
just
met
like,
her already,
Hi.
right?
I don't even think so.
No, I think you told me you
my
talked to her
God.
at a party.
Dude, no. This is how it happened. So I know this guy who has this clothing store called Blue and Cream. Shout out Jeff Goldstein. And I had one time seen this lady inside the store, inside Blue and Cream. So I DM'd her and I was like, oh, I'm good friends with Jeff. She's like, oh, I love Jeff. And then we like started DMing, whatever. And then from that point, it really didn't go much further than that, man. I realized that like if somebody is as old as my mom, like I don't even really know. Like what would it be like if my mom and her hung out?
Yeah, it's hard to
No,
connect.
my mom would judge too. Judge Judy. She would totally judge.
It's hard to connect at that point, I think.
So, bro, all this talk about older women, how was your day? I didn't even ask you.
It was okay.
Well, you were stuck in a little traffic.
I went on a little hike yesterday. I was gonna go hiking today.
How many steps did you get yesterday?
I gotta tell you, it's a funny story, kind of.
Yeah, go ahead. How many steps do you think around?
I was probably 4 or 5 miles.
Okay, so 20.
And I took the hard trail. So I haven't been. There's this not state park right down the street from me called Sleeping Giant, and it's like a pretty sizable like mountain. And I haven't been in a long time, and there's a cool trail. It's called the Blue Trail, where it's pretty
like skiing.
It's pretty
Blue Square.
Well, there's different trails up the mountain.
Is it also a ski snowboard resort in the winter?
No, there's just hiking trails.
Okay.
So there's one called the Blue Trail where it's up the face of the mountain, and you can see it from the street, and it's very rocky, and it looks very dangerous, but it's not that dangerous but I haven't been in so long, and I kind of want it just for like, if I'm going to go and exercise, I got to get some content.
Do you alone?
So I went alone. And so I went, and I couldn't remember how to get to the start of, it's called the Blue Trail. I couldn't remember how to get to the start of the Blue Trail. So I was texting my friend who used to go a lot. And I was like, how do you get to the Blue Trail? I don't know. He's like, you got to go down by the stream, and then it's up there. I'm like, I'm already halfway up the mountain.
You got your compass.
And I'm like reading on Google. I'm like supposed to be out in nature. I'm like,
and there was service there?
Yeah, there was service.
All right.
It's not in the middle of nowhere. It's like right next to Quinnipiac, the college right across the street.
Right.
Yeah.
Where you used to have a summer job taking out trash in front of the hot girls.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, go ahead.
I'm halfway up, and I figure out how to get to the Blue Trail, but I'm already too far up where I'm past like the cool part of the Blue Trail where you're like hiking up the front of the mountain.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever, I'll keep following the Blue Trail. So I keep following the Blue Trail, and I end up getting to the top of the mountain, and I'm like, okay, I'll take the Blue Trail back down, and at least I'll be able to go down the front of the mountain. No, it goes from the bottom to the top, back to the back of the mountain. So I'm walking, and I'm like, shit, I'm getting really tired. I'm like 3-4 miles in right now. And I'm like, I think I missed the part.
It's slowly starting to get dark.
So yeah, it's like 4 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, I have some time, but not that much time.
Yeah.
And my phone's about to die. So now I'm walking, and I see on the map, it finally like zooms in on my map, and I can see that I'm at the back of the mountain. I'm like, oh no. So I get back, and I get to the street, and I'm like 4 or 5 miles from where my car is parked.
After you had already went the 4 or 5 miles down that way.
Yeah. So now it's another 4 or 5 miles back to my car. So I had to call my mom to go and get it.
And she picked you up right away. She knew where you were.
I was like, I'm on Mount Carmel Road. Can you? She was on her way home. If she was already home or she wasn't near me, I would have been like, whatever, I'll just walk. It would have been brutal. But she was.
Dude, it also would have gotten dark.
Yeah, it would have gotten dark. And she was almost home, and I live right down the street from the mountain. She's like, okay, I'll turn around and come get you.
Wow. Thank God for your mom, man.
Yeah, she came to pick me up. And I went and got a donut and went home.
It sounds like the Blair Witch Project just featuring you, part 2. I don't know if they made
and I didn't even get any good content out of it. I wanted to like, get a good TikTok. I don't know. Look at me climbing up like a rock face. Exactly.
And then also we started talking about TikTok briefly on the top of the episode, just because when Katie came, we shot like a little dumb video of me in bed smoking weed, and then Pat was like, "You should put it on TikTok." Yeah, weed is sick. Pat was like, "You should put it on TikTok." We'll see what happens with it.
I don't think you can put. They're very strict about.
You don't, but you saw how I set it up. Oh, because I may have been smoking a tobacco cigarette, or it was hemp.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was hemp, or it was CBD. It's crazy how like all these things are being legalized to avoid legalizing weed. It's like, yeah, hemp's all good. You can buy a hemp cigarette online, or you can buy some CBD oils for your joints. Speaking of which, my knees are all right. I've been complaining. I bought that thing that you told me to buy. I feel like but I feel like by the time it gets here on next Sunday, hopefully my heel will be.
Well, it's good to take even if you're not in pain.
You take this supplement. What's it called again?
Curcumin,
and you take that every day just to feel good.
Just keep inflammation down.
Interesting.
Is it working?
Interesting thought. Well, do you have any inflammation?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you're not complaining as much as me.
Tested.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Could be doing nothing.
Oh my God, Pat! The election is coming up soon. Do you even know who you're voting for?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, you get mad at me. Yeah, we don't have to. We don't have to talk about it. But I'm likely going to be sitting this one out.
Oh yeah.
You know what? People can get mad at me. I don't give a hoot. One, I live in a blue state, and people are like, "That's the kind of attitude that makes the state red." But until I see a close battle where it might be red versus blue, and I'm not voting for Donnie T. I have one of these online ballots that I could potentially send in, so maybe I'll do that. But I don't know. I also think that it's rigged, planned. We already know who's going to win, potentially.
Yeah.
Hopefully not Donnie T. But the last election between Hillary Clinton and Donnie T, like nobody thought that Donnie T was going to win, and then he won.
Look what happened.
Yeah.
I thought Donnie T had no chance of winning again.
Yeah, I feel like we all kind of thought that.
Gal Gadot started singing to people during COVID, and I was like, wow, he's probably going to win
again. Oh, what was that again? Imagine.
Gal Gadot started singing Imagine with a bunch of celebrities. I was like, okay, he might win again.
Did you guys see that? That was so weird. Just like a bunch of celebs singing that. I think it's like all of these videos that like celebs are getting together to try and
just all very
formulate some sort of like pact. I feel like it's all to get Donnie T out of office. And also,
it's not working. It's doing the opposite.
I know, and everyone's like, vote. Like, why are you so interested in me voting? Like,
the whole
clearly
like,
want Donnie T out
thing is like
it seems very blue to me, man. Very democratic.
It's just very. It's. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't think it's anyone's job. Like everyone knows they should go out and vote.
Sure.
It's no one else's job creating this like mob mentality of like everyone go out and vote, but only vote if you're voting for who I want you to vote for. It's like everyone's got to get off Twitter.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to
hop off that TikTok.
The way people are reacting about things are just like it's gotta.
How do you mean? How do you mean? How do you mean the world is?
I don't know.
Crazy.
Like the whole like coronavirus thing. It's like. You know, I miss traveling. Like, we just go out? It's like, no, we don't deserve any of this. We got ourselves into this mess.
We did.
I mean, as we can blame whoever we want. There could be a scapegoat. There could be Donald Trump or whoever you want to blame. China. But
China.
In actuality, it's like I don't think we deserve to go back out and do whatever we want. You're an environment guy.
Sure.
We've just been treating like the human race has just not been cooperating, and no one's living healthy, and some people are, but
right.
I think people as a whole, we've gotten ourselves into this mess, into this world, and now like we're freaking out that we can't leave our houses.
Farming,
it's like
crushing the Amazon, fires, all this crap. I feel like we're finally seeing the world kind of crumble in front of our eyes, and the fact that like. I think the stat is like by 2050 it might be too hot to live on this
probably
earth.
Will be.
So like now we're just like last second.
And we can blame whoever we want. We're gonna blame Donald Trump. Okay,
okay, fine. I'll blame Donnie T.
Yeah, like you want a scapegoat, fine, blame Donald Trump. But I mean, it's like we've gotten ourselves into this mess over years and years and years and years, no matter who the president was. So it's like, the craziness on Twitter and people freaking out and like it's just I don't think it's adding anything productive to any kind of discourse. I think discourse is good, but when you have people on both sides, whether you're like far right or far left, these people who are talking, they're only talking to people who agree with them.
Yeah.
Everyone on each side is only preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
They're not getting through to anyone on either side. You're not going to change an Antifa's person. Like a Proud Boy is not going to change the mind of someone in Antifa, and Antifa is not going to change someone's mind of the Proud Boy. So you're just yelling. but no like good discourse is happening, and I don't feel like anything's changing.
People hear you, but I guess they're not listening. And
no one's
also,
listening other than people who agree with you, and it's not moving anything.
And I feel like, I mean, maybe this is like the first election that I've really kind of paid attention to, even though I just said I'm not voting. I feel like Republicans and Democrats have never been this far apart in terms of like yelling on a basis about like other people's opinions and point of view. Maybe at some point in the history of the United States, there's been more of a divide. Maybe when Abraham Lincoln was around and it was slavery or no slavery. Maybe that was a time that people were really separated on what to believe. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like you're either like a Trump supporter or you're a Trump hater. You know what I mean? Kind of.
Yeah. Well, the identity politics has gone so crazy that people are just more concerned with fitting into a certain box. People are more concerned of aligning all their beliefs with one party that they don't have their own opinions. They don't have any like. I think all you need to do is like you just go out and vote. I'm not telling you to go vote, but that's the only thing that you can do. That's the only thing that you can do that's going to make a difference. You're like telling people to go vote is not going to do anything. Right. You have to just go vote and that's it. That's all you can do.
Dude, unless you and I run for office, then that's the only thing you and I can really do. Is if we just run for office. But besides that, you're right. You do got to vote.
The way people react.
If you're going to complain, you got to vote.
The reaction to all this stuff is just so insane. I can't deal with it anymore.
It's not great, man, but it definitely is one way or the other. And we're talking about on the top of the episode, Donnie T moonwalking at his.
Yeah, what is that? I don't know.
At his, what was it? What is it? What is this even called, Katie? When Donnie T was moonwalking at his reception in Florida, what was it called? At a rally in Florida. He was ripping off the mask. Yes, dude, it's actually pretty impressive. Especially a man who is still testing positive for COVID, I think. And also they're throwing like rallies that are mask optional. So American. So gosh darn American.
The fact that COVID has become such a political thing, it's just like, it's so insane.
Right.
I can't. It's not even, people don't even care about it as like a pandemic anymore. They care about it as what it does.
Wearing a mask or not wearing a mask.
It's become just political. It's just become a political thing.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Like the red people don't, I don't want to say red people, but I guess Republicans, some part of Republicans don't like wearing a mask. Right. And then some part of Democrats insist on wearing a mask.
Yeah. And I think my personal opinion is wear a mask. I have no reason not to wear a mask.
Why? Like, well, who cares? Like,
because it's a political thing.
No. I'm saying, like, who cares wearing a mask? Like, Wuhan knocked out this virus how many months ago? And, like, we can't knock it out because we can't wear a freaking mask when we go to Dwayne Reed down the street. Yeah. Like, some crap like that.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Nonsense.
It gets me fired up talking about it. So I can't.
Well, we don't have to get you too fired up there. The Los Angeles Lakers won the NBA title. Do you see that?
Yeah, it was it was anticlimactic.
Right, because they were up by like 30 at halftime.
Just the whole thing, the celebration is just
the views.
It was not the same,
right?
Obviously.
The viewers were down all throughout the playoffs and then the finals. Obviously Donnie T was talking about that too. He was calling LeBron a hater. Insane. So who do you have as the best player of all time? If you really care. We were talking about Michael Jordan and his documentary back in June, and he obviously dropped that after LeBron won his title a few years ago. But the conversation is heating up. When LeBron James won the NBA title 2 years ago, that's when Michael Jordan decided that he wanted to drop that like 6-part series, or was it 10 parts? I can't remember how many parts it was.
It was a lot.
But it was on ESPN, and they had like
it was 10 parts or 8 parts.
Yeah, I think it might have been 10 to 8. Can we check that out? How many parts that Michael Jordan documentary was? Like you guys care over there. We're just spitballing. It was 10 exactly. But I think this, that brings up the topic of debating who is the greatest player of all time. Also, LeBron James is 6'10" and 280.
Yeah, I think he's the most
huge,
athletically gifted, talented person ever to play sports. Is he the best basketball player of all time? I don't know. I don't really care.
So you're arguing and saying that he potentially is the best athlete of all time.
I think so. Yeah.
You might actually be right.
I don't.
No, you might be right.
I think he's the only person ever
who's that big, who can move well.
Other than maybe Bo Jackson
Ooh,
or.
I bet you guys don't even know about
I
Bo
think
Jackson.
but even Bo Jackson, I mean,
He got hurt.
Just the fact that LeBron's been playing 14 seasons and has not gotten hurt just shows that he's even more of a freak than Bo
Right,
Jackson
so
was.
Bo Jackson played baseball and football,
And he was
like
playing
a
baseball,
like a
like,
Deion
yeah,
Sanders-esque.
Like, you put LeBron in any sport, and this has always been a thing that people say.
Yes.
He'd probably do well in it. Pretty much.
Like,
He was all-state in football.
Yeah, like
You give him a
LeBron
tennis
as a
racket, I'm sure he'd
cornerback.
be great at tennis.
LeBron as a cornerback or LeBron as a wide receiver would be nuts.
Yeah,
I mean,
insane.
quarterback, I don't know, but cornerback and wide receiver, for sure.
Muhammad Ali.
Also, I mean, you could argue Muhammad Ali, but I think
But it's
that
hard-
like
yeah.
his legacy was not as great.
Yeah, he's a legend for sure, but it's tough to say. I mean, I didn't grow up in that.
Yeah, neither of us
did,
did.
so I didn't
So
see
we can't really talk
firsthand,
too
so I
much
don't
of it.
know.
Yeah.
But
Also, you know who's underrated? I feel like maybe Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather,
What is he, 50-0 in boxing?
50 and 0. I mean, there's a lot of people.
There's-
You
I
got
mean,
Tiger
there's-
Woods. You got Michael Phelps.
Definitely.
You got Usain Bolt. You got a lot of people.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's definitely like 10
Serena
athletes,
Williams.
10 athletes who make the list. Tom Brady maybe being in the top 8 potentially.
Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi.
Yeah. So I'd say legacy, titles, and what you're doing for the community just really makes you a legend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But LeBron definitely up there.
But I think though that conversation is tired.
it is a tired
It's
conversation. 'cause
it's
you-
uninteresting at this point.
It's like we were talking about before. I just said it's 4 times. It's like going back and forth from a Republican and a Democrat. It's just an argument you can't win. And now
Yeah.
Rafael Nadal just won his 20th Grand Slam title, his 13th French Open title, and Roger Federer has 20 Grand Slam titles. So are you really going to be saying that Rafael Nadal is better than Roger Federer? I hope you're not. And I hope Roger Federer wins the Australian Open title in January to knock this conversation dead. But I just cannot have Rafael Nadal winning 21 Grand Slams and Federer having 20. It just doesn't look right, man. When you watch Federer play and when you watch Nadal play, who's doing it more effortlessly, man? Roger Federer is the
Roger Federer
friggin'
is definitely
answer.
a little more finessey, but
Yes.
I
Well,
think
but that's how I think you decide who's the best of all time. The more finesse you have in the game, the
guess.
effort that goes through your game. And I guess you can say the same thing about like a Michael Jordan versus LeBron. Michael Jordan was a lot smoother than LeBron, especially from like the free throw line. LeBron has like a very
not a great
squidge
shooter.
like free throw.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah, I guess
just
you
in
could say.
general.
Well, that's what I said. Like, he's probably the most physically dominant, gifted
LeBron, right?
athlete. Is he the best basketball player? Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe.
So, man, Pat, I obviously didn't mean to, jump right on you as soon as you walked in the door, hop on the couch and start this podcast, but that's what we do best. So Pat and I have a dinner after this, not a double date, although that would be nice. You and I have never
nice.
been on a double date.
No.
Well, it could be a double date. We'll,
Yeah,
we'll make each
technically,
of
yeah.
these boys our girlfriends.
Yeah, that's fine. Fine with
We
me.
are going to eat with some college bros, and oh my god, dude! So I hear my boss today talking in the office, and someone asked him where he's going on his date, and he said the same restaurant that we're going to
Really?
tonight. So yeah, so he doesn't know I'm going to be
That's
there tonight.
hilarious.
I don't know what time he's going, but like when we show
Probably
up,
around the same-
Yeah,
I mean,
right. So when
around
we
the same
show up at
time.
7:30. We'll blow up a spot. We'll figure out
That's
something
funny.
to do with that. So, Pat, a lot going on in your life, man. A lot going on the podcast and all this crap, as I always say. But give us an update, man. We all want to know what's good with producer Pat.
I'm out here, I'm
You in these streets?
yeah, it's on site every day.
Word, I hear you.
No, I don't know. I
go
don't
ahead.
know. Don't have a job yet. Apartment lease ends November 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Well, we're figuring it out, man, and we're
figuring it out.
and Pat is obviously gonna be here as long as he wants to be here. You know what I'm saying? We got 59 producer P. You see, I wrote that right there in the corner. You guys can see it in the corner of your
me.
screen. I don't know if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, but if you're listening and if you're watching and whatever, just comment, like, subscribe, 5-star. But yeah, it's been a great whirlwind, I'd say. Next episode will be number 60, and that reminds me of Mickey Mantle because he did hit 60 home runs. Did Mickey Mantle hit 60 home runs or 61 home runs? This is beautiful, man. Just having Katie in the corner, I could just say insanely speculative things that I may be right about. Nope, that's wrong. In one season, Mickey Mantle. Did I say Mickey Mantle or did I say
Mantle, yeah.
it was like Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, and then Sammy Sosa all hit like those 60 bombs in one season. 50? You sure? I don't think so. I think we're going to have to cut this part. Yes. Mickey Mantle.
That's
No,
a lot. That's a lot.
I thought it was
40,
60.
40 is a lot.
40 is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then also everyone today in baseball is juicing. So, that's who did? Who? Mickey Mantle. All right, well, holler at your boy, Mickey Mantle.
You know what? Speaking
he was
of all
dating
this,
Marilyn Monroe. Sorry, go
who
ahead.
wasn't,
Ooh.
Kennedy.
Yeah,
get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much we can get into this because it's a long topic, but
Sure.
this is something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. And
Has
I
it been
don't know
bugging you,
why.
man? I just saw the bugging Pat
Kind
face.
of, yeah. So talking about all these, how talented is LeBron, versus Jordan? How talented is a Mickey Mantle? How do we determine what talent deserves praise? You know how people are always like, the Kardashians, they're talentless. They have no talent. But like, what is talent? Like LeBron, why do we praise someone like a LeBron James for being big and fast, and we consider that talent? Or someone who can sing, who was just born with a good voice, who maybe, I'm sure LeBron puts in a lot of work, and I'm sure singers work hard, I guess. But why do we not why do we, someone who's very successful, I don't know why I'm choosing the Kardashians.
No. I think it was a good
someone who's like very successful, who's taken whatever, nothing that they were, maybe didn't have natural talent, but has built something for themselves, and who are like very smart and very business savvy. Why do we choose to praise people for things that they were born with, like singing, or they're a good dancer, or they're a good basketball player? Why do you think you get what I'm saying?
No, I do understand.
Why do we give so much
And
praise to natural talent versus people who develop skills?
I think, like, for example, when I used to play tennis, and I really started playing tennis competitively when I was like 12 and 13 years old, you could really see the difference between when somebody would start playing tennis competitively at like age 6 to playing tennis competitively at like age 13, just because like the difference between 6 and 13 is so dramatic, just because like when you're 6 years old and you're trying to lift a tennis racket, you lift the tennis racket from the center of your body, making your strokes more smooth because you're moving with your hips. When you're starting to play tennis when you're 12 years old, you have all this big ego, and you're taking your racket back with your arm, and then you're trying to sync it up with your waist and hips and whatever it is. So I think that people initially, when they start working on something earlier in life, people have more respect for that. Like the Kardashians, this just came out this past week. Kris Jenner, Kylie Jenner, and Kim Kardashian are all worth. If you could look this up, it was Kim Kardashian was worth over 700 mil. Kylie was worth over 700 million too, and then their manager Kris Jenner is worth 200 mil. So for like a circumstance like that, these three ladies got on a reality show 15 years ago, and I mean, dude, you and I could be on a reality show. So I think that people kind of take offense to something that everybody could potentially do. You know what I mean?
Guess,
like if people were to, if Katie took a camera and followed you and I around all day, I'm sure people would watch.
Yeah, some people would watch it.
Yeah, but would we have 21 seasons? Who knows? Maybe. But if by the time we had our 21st season, we'd have a lot of money. And people, I think, are looking at our Kardashians as having something just handed to them.
Yeah. But so, yeah, I totally understand that. But what about someone who like, someone like a Usain Bolt? Like, I'm sure he works hard, but he was born the fastest guy in the world. I mean, he's just genetically is he working that much harder than everyone else, or is he
people are assuming that
or is
he
he
does.
just 6'5" and has a lot of fat twist muscle fibers and just runs really fast?
That's
true, he was
too.
born with that. Why do we give him praise but not other people? And I know I keep saying the Kardashians, but anyone.
Yeah.
The people that we consider to not have, like, why do we put people on a pedestal who are like born with a certain?
Because I think
gift.
people like,
Just because other people don't have it,
yeah,
it's just
people
rare.
like brains and people like athletes.
Yeah, for some reason.
Yeah,
It's weird. It's getting a little extra. We don't have to get too deep
No.
into it,
I mean,
but
we're
you
into
hear what
it a
I'm
little
saying,
bit.
though,
You know,
right? It's just
people will
weird
say,
how-
right, but there are other circumstances where people will say, oh yeah, they got so lucky. Like if this maybe particularly smart person, I'm just using an example, a particularly particularly smart person made a real estate investment and they bought a building in a good area, or not a good area initially when they first bought it, but 10 years later it got good. You know, somebody may say like, oh, this guy, you know, he's super lucky. He just put his money in a pit and now look how rich the guy is. But maybe the guy is seeing certain trends. He's seeing like, oh, it's close to the subway stop. Oh, it's near a lot of nice buildings. Oh, I see this area, you know, it is less crime filled or whatever makes some people want to move into a building. Maybe that guy had seen it years before. So I hear what you're saying, that like people really only respect you if you have an athletic ability,
because you
or
were born
you have
with
like
athletic ability.
or
That could be
you've
luck.
knowledge.
You can consider that luck too, just
Right.
being born physically gifted. You know.
Right. But I think like the physically gifted part is that you really can't make it to the top where people know you without working hard.
That's
in my
true.
opinion,
That's
you know,
true.
like a
Yeah,
Floyd
that's true.
Mayweather,
That's true.
a LeBron James, a Michael Jordan, a Muhammad Ali. I think just seeing them work for all the years up to making it to this point, kind of like turns people on.
Yeah, true. But like, even if you're lucky in business or something, it probably does still take. Even if you're given money young or something, it still takes usually hard work to like maintain that and grow it.
Dude,
you know?
totally.
I don't know. It's weird. It's just a weird thing to think about. One of those shower thoughts, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I hear you.
Yeah. I don't know.
You haven't worn your AirPods in the shower, right? I told you I did that once. It's fucking.
No, I have.
was
I did it once.
retarded. You did? Both?
Yeah, I did it once. What?
Both
I
AirPods
think
or
so.
one?
Maybe one or two. No, I think both.
Did you come out with the same AirPods? They still worked?
Yeah, they still work. I've
Didn't
had
you
them go
get-
through the wash and they still work.
What?
Yeah.
I gotta get on your AirPod guy grind. Did you get those fancy AirPods?
What do you mean? Like the twos or the pros?
Yeah.
No, I just have the original one.
You want to talk about Apple really quick? I know it's grinding
Oh,
your gears.
God.
I got a text from you. Why don't we quickly touch on Apple and why Pat thinks they're shysting everyone?
Oh, you want me to go
Yeah,
off on
go
another-
off. Go off.
I don't know. I just think they have not innovated since Steve Jobs has been gone. I think they come out with the
That
same
was
phone
a
every
big
year.
loss.
A huge
Big
loss.
loss.
I mean, they don't. They come out every year with these minor updates and charge $800 for a phone.
And now they don't have a charger. And
now they don't have a charger. They don't have headphones. Which
Yeah, and they
which
say
they're
that's like helping the
conveniently- I'm sure,
environment.
yeah, it does help the environment,
Sure.
but it's also convenient. They're probably saving millions of dollars doing that.
So if you get one of these new phones, what number are they on, dude?
12. They just
So
came out
if you
or
get-
announced the 12.
Okay, so if you get the new iPhone 12, like you're telling me, like if you got the 12 and you came here and you didn't have your charger, you couldn't charge your phone in
No, you
my
can.
port?
No, you can. It has a charging port. It just doesn't come with a charger.
Oh,
They're just not giving you
Oh.
headphones and a
Right, right,
charger.
right.
You're just
that's bizarre, man. I'm not
You're
spending
still gonna have to go-
$1,200
if
on
you're-
a phone
because-
and not having a charger.
the whole thing about
Or headphones.
business is you want to acquire new customers. So if you're already in the Apple ecosystem, they're assuming that you already have 10 chargers. But if you're trying to
Which you
acquire new
probably are.
customers, you're still going to have to go out and buy a charger and a cable, which is just going to add to your footprint anyway.
Well, that's also true, but you know we have friends who just like go out and rush
It's
to
a
get the
status
Apple,
thing,
the
and I get
Apple
that.
12.
And it's a status thing getting the new phone, or
I
like
don't
if
mind
you're
my
really
8.
into tech, if it really makes you happy to go out and get the new phone and you're really into tech, but their updates, I mean, this last iOS, I think has been the best one since, but
I haven't updated.
they're just doing things that has been around. They're like widget. Oh, we gave you widgets on the homepage. It's like, okay, widgets have been around. Like, oh, I can see my battery power now, like in big letters on my phone. It's like, okay.
Like, oh, Ted Jones, your screen time today is 15% less than yesterday. It's only 9 hours. Jesus, how long is the normal screen time? I want to freaking know. If anyone's keeping their screen time at under 4 hours a day, mazel tov, my hat's to you. I don't know, man. I'm usually like I'm gonna be pretty honest here. I'm usually like a 5.5 to 6 hour kind of guy.
Yeah.
So like I don't really know. My whole life is kind of on my phone, but
It is.
yeah. I mean, it's tough to put down. Did you see this documentary? What was it? The Social Network on Netflix?
The social.
I don't know if it was called The Social Network. It was called The Social Dilemma,
I've
and
heard-
it just
I've heard
talks
about
about
it.
how all these apps all they're interested in is just keeping you to keep your eyes on.
Oh
your
well,
phone.
I'm completely addicted to my phone. Like,
Right.
In a
Well,
bad,
so
in
am
a,
I.
in a very bad
Dude,
way.
everyone's addicted on their phone.
Yeah, it's
by
so
the way.
bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
And I need to I want to get one of those phones. They have one. I forget what it's called, where you just all it has is text and.
Oh, just like a flip phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's more of like it looks like an iPhone, but it's just
Is it Apple?
no, it's not an Apple. I forget what it's called. Just give me. What's that? Light phone. That's it.
Oh,
Yeah,
LIT
light
phone.
Yeah.
That could be
But
good.
also you can put podcasts and music on it. So it's like, okay, now we're slowly starting to get like, okay, it's not
yeah,
really.
like into the
it's like-
iPhone mix.
But I guess you have to get weaned off of it. It's like, okay, maybe I have to have some-
Right.
It's tough. Like when I went on my little hike yesterday, it's like, should I listen to a podcast?
Uh-huh.
It's like, no, I should just like turn everything off.
Yeah, or leave your phone in the car if you can.
Well, that I don't
But
want.
then you would have gotten lost.
Yeah. I like to have my phone just in case. A lot of times, I'll put it on airplane mode.
Yeah.
But like then sometimes my mom will text me and
But then
she'll
you'll
see
walk
that
in and you'll have Wi-Fi.
she'll see that the phone didn't like the text didn't go through as green and she freaks out. It's
Uh-huh.
like, okay, now I can't be on airplane mode for too long. You know?
Right. Well, also like when I put it in airplane mode, and like for the most part, I don't want to say all of the places that I go, I'm on the Wi-Fi, but most of the places that I go, I'm on the Wi-Fi. So it
Yeah.
just kind of ruins the point of putting it on airplane mode.
It's definitely not good for you. And now they're saying, well, you have all these other things that like EMF and 5G are like bad for you.
Right.
Which
Apparently,
they probably
remember
but-
initially when coronavirus happened, they
Yeah,
were
they
saying
thought
that it was like
5G,
5G, like
5G.
birds flying over like a telephone pole and then just getting shocked out of the air.
Yeah.
They're like, it's some sketchy shit.
It's insane. It's ruined my attention span. Like the internet has completely ruined my attention span.
Really?
Like I'll listen to a podcast for 5 minutes, get bored of it, go on YouTube. Listen, like, okay, now I'm bored of
Oh,
YouTube. I got to go
bro.
to Instagram. I can't just like sit and do something. Even watch
Having
TV.
the
I
phone,
can't even watch TV anymore.
Dude, having the
TV used to be
phone and
bad
like,
for
yes,
you.
dude,
Now that's
having
the
the
better
phone
the
and then
alternative.
and then watching The Office, like
Yeah.
it takes me an hour to watch a 30-minute.
And they say
episode of
something in the office, I got to look it up, or like I think of something that I have to look
Yeah.
up, like, like what's the most healthy? Blah blah blah.
I can't,
don't,
dude.
like, anything.
I can't imagine what it's gonna be like for kids growing up. We spoke about the Kardashians briefly, but even
Yeah.
like North on her little iPad,
Everyone's got
like
iPads.
she's locked in.
And it's
And
always
she's
been
young.
like that. Like when we were kids, we had Game Boys.
Right.
I don't think it was.
I don't think we were
that
that.
bad.
Yeah.
It definitely was not. Like I was outside almost all the time. Like whenever I could be outside, I wanted to be
True.
outside. When I was inside and I was with my parents doing something boring, I would have a Game Boy.
I'd
But-
be interested to see like what recess looks like. I mean, before COVID, but like what recess kind of looks like when everyone's supposed to go out in the yard, play kickball, potentially play
Yeah, I don't know.
dodgeball.
That's a good point.
Because I remember when I was in 3rd, 4th grade, like nobody had any phones, or if we did have a phone, we'd have the flip phone and we'd have to keep
Yeah.
it in our locker all day.
Yeah.
And then
Well, I
we'd
see-
text like babysitter or whoever it is.
When I used to live in Gramercy next to one of the schools, every time I would go out to my car, they would, or the court, like the basketball courts where they had recess were right across from my apartment.
Right.
And I would see them out a lot, and most of them weren't on their phone. Maybe they have a rule where they can't bring phones to recess, but
Right,
most of them were playing basketball and running around. And
Yeah,
like-
it's a good sight to see.
yeah. So I don't know, but
Hopefully we'll continue on that path.
yeah, man, I don't know.
Dude, also side note, I guess, as we always do, or as I always do, I trash Donnie T on this podcast, but have you seen Hunter Biden's
I have
pictures
now.
in the bathtub smoking a cig?
Is he
He's
he
just smoking a
selfieing him,
heater.
pretending to be
you
passed
guys
out?
need to look this
Or someone
up right
taking a
now.
picture of
Hunter
him?
Biden's just smoking a heater.
Oh, that's a crack
Oh
pipe.
my God, it's a full,
looked like
it's
a
a full
cigarette for
crack
a
pipe,
second.
and also it's a selfie too. Wait, do you
Wait,
think
do you
that
think
was
someone's taking a
Yeah,
picture?
I
That's
was
what I
just
mean.
asking if someone took a picture of him.
Well, that one definitely is, unless you put a timer up, because you can see both of his
And he's
hands.
just holding his nips too.
I
These
mean,
are
a president's kid being a little,
yeah. What
it's
else?
nothing
is
new.
What
you
else?
know,
is
like,
new?
I mean, a president has a scandalous family member. Like, you know.
Yeah, who knew? Well, Pat, this was a terrific episode. Had to shit on your boy Hunter Biden just because I have to even it out, I guess. Episode 59, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. It's been really great talking to you guys. And Pat, up high, down low, elbow. You got to get me one of those TJW bracelets
I
that
got
you
one for
made.
you in the car.
I can't wait. Thank you guys. See you later.
Ted Jones messed with the wrong melon farmers.
Ted Jones, I also call him the 8th wonder of the real estate world.
Ted Jones. Who knows? It could be.
Ted Jones?
The Ted Jones World Podcast.